Hi, welcome to the video about the enough equation and how it affects creation. So your enough equation, if you're not familiar with that, is the two things that God gave you the moment you existed. So whether your belief is God or the universe, you know you exist, and the moment you existed, you had two things or two legs to stand on. One is worth. Your worth cannot be increased or decreased. It is infinite. It is divine if you use that word and that belief system. And it cannot be earned, it cannot be lost, and it cannot be increased or decreased. It simply is a set point in your life. It simply exists because you do. The second piece of the enough equation, worth plus what? Worth plus power. All of us are born with the ability to choose. And no matter how much our choices may be limited by circumstance or our own choices that put us in situations, we always still have choices. If we exist and have any awareness, we have choices. So worth plus power, your ability to choose, what does that equal? Well, what that equals is safety. And safety is the core need of every human being. It is wired into every cell of your body, into the main functions of your brain. That's where all information goes first, is am I safe? And if the brain says yes, then it allows higher functions and logic and learning and things like that. And that is your body's number one goal in life, is to keep you safe. So like Einstein said, the biggest decision you'll ever make is whether you live in a friendly or unfriendly universe. And that is true because everything else is built on that. If you feel unsafe, then you will run programs to try and create your own safety, and you'll ignore the safety that is your birthright. And we do things like worth grabs, where we go out and we try to earn our worth and bring it back and stuff it in the hole where we don't feel good enough. And then in the power section of the enough equation, if we don't feel safe and we're running safety programs trying to create that for ourselves, in power, we'll either try to take power from others and have a huge need to control, either in our own life or in how others' lives affect us, or we'll give our power away in an effort, in an exchange to try and like somehow get safety. If I give you my power, you'll keep me safe, right? Or if I give you my power, you'll increase my worth. I'll get my worth. You'll tell me I'm good enough if I give you my power, right? So power games, worth grabs, safety programs, that's all the dysfunctional side of enough equation. That's the piece where our hardwiring just takes over, and at the very reptilian level, we're just trying to like react and get safe and manage life. The problem is it doesn't work. We really never can create our own safety. We can't create our own worth and our own power because we are completely missing the boat that it showed up when we did. And we spent all this time over here looking for it, but the real receiving of it is just finding where it is and stepping into it and receiving it and learning what that feels like and what that looks like. So you can imagine that it really affects what you create in your life based on how much you're over here trying to do it on your own, worth grabs, power games, all that stuff, versus do you feel safe? Do you have a good sense of your own infinite worth? And are you playing power games, or are you simply choosing? So we're going to talk about being over here. What does that look like? When you are standing in your infinite worth, how many possibilities do you think you're worthy of? Yeah, you see? Amazing, right? There's nothing good and amazing that you are not worthy of. That's an impossibility. That is just your inherent worth. Now, sometimes people get worth and worthiness confused. And even though they have the same core word, and I haven't figured out how to surgically remove the word worth from worthiness, it just is, they are different. And I'll show you how. Worth you cannot affect. You have no choice in the matter that to God, to the universe, that assigned to your existence is an infinite, non-disputable, unchangeable worth. Now, when you step into your power, the other leg that God gave you, the other thing that you showed up on this planet with that's an inherent right and gift and just it's there, is your power. Your power to choose. Now, with your power to make choices, that can determine your worthiness to receive something. In other words, your choice determines for you, by your choice, you get to choose, what vibration am I going to live in? Am I going to be open to receiving more, or am I going to shut down and start playing power games and worth grabs? You get to choose. So your worthiness to receive something is just simply, now that you know your worth, how are you stepping into your power to move through these levels of experience and experience more and more and more of God, more and more of the God in you, more and more of a high vibration, more and more as you learn more and become more and understand the process of more and expansion, right? As you expand, that's worthiness. That's just using our choice and our understanding to move with our worth and create an experience, and to move with God and create an experience. Do you see the difference? Now let's talk about if we come over here to power games and worth grabs, and we're running all these safety programs. Our little reptilian brain, or like our subconscious, is just going nuts because its number one job is to keep us safe. So it's just going crazy, right? It's doing all these crazy things. How does worth affect your money when you're over here? Are you worthy of having more than you need? Are you worthy of having more than just survival? Right? What about power? I have no power to change it. So I just need to create a really small box out of my fear and powerlessness and hopelessness that I can feel safe in. And until it feels safe, I'm going to keep shrinking it, and I'm going to keep controlling it more and more and more and more. Shrink, control. Do you see how that's the opposite of expanding? We were given worth and power to create expansion, to elevate, to return us to love, to return us to God, to awaken and experience God in us and get more and more of that. Expansion. That's why we were given that. It's the perfect, safe situation to be able to do it if we receive it. If we don't, we come over here and what do? I'm not good enough, so I can't create that experience. I can't have money in the bank. No way, shrink. I don't feel safe. Things feel out of control. I need to control everything in my relationship. Shrink. That still doesn't feel safe because there's scary things going on in the world. So I need to put out more power games, more control, more fear. Shrink. Oh, do you see how that shrinking is the exact opposite of expansion in your birthright? And you'll never feel safe doing this. You'll get highs, right? You'll get like buzzes because you had control for a false sense of control for a moment. But that just feeds the fear. And then you'll get, even more constricted. So that is how the enough equation plays into creation. We're either in safety programs, or we're stepping into our true worth, power, and safety that showed up with us in the universe. And we're using that as a platform to continue to expand into our higher selves, into what we were created for, our infiniteness, into God, into love, connecting to His will, if that's your belief system, or connecting to your purpose or the light that's leading you and helping you to expand at every single level and supporting you and showing up and supporting you in this creation. Or you're all on your own, you're never going to be safe, and you're going to shrink until you finally find that safety, which of course you won't, because every time you participate in it, you're creating more fear. And that is the opposite of safety. So it's an important concept to understand, because when we recognize the worth grabs and the power games that we're playing, and we recognize those feelings of not feeling safe, those are going to block what we're trying to create. So we want to take a look at those and be aware of those and learn how to shift into feeling more worth, knowing that we have power to create, and choices that we can make, and feeling safe enough to do so. The simplest version of this is, if you're not experiencing this, if God is your belief system and your go-to, then I encourage you and invite you to ask Him to show you how. He can give, He can show. It's amazing. You can do that. Another thing to consider is just try it on. You can have this back anytime you want it. What if for one day you just tried on, pretended, created, envisioned, experienced the best you could that you were worth $1 million? What would that do? If it's there, just try something else. You have the ability to choose that. And as you use that choice to choose it, you're commanding and using that power, and you can shift. So just try it. It's so simple. Just try it one day. What does that look like? Maybe it looks like, you go get a massage and you say no, or you say yes to something, or you put yourself first. When you get up in the morning, you're connecting to your higher power, to God, to the universe. Then you connect to yourself with some self-care. Maybe that's a quick walk, or getting that drink of water in the morning before you take care of anyone else. You fill up, and then you take care of everyone else. Then you go through the day. What would $1 million self-care look like? If I felt that way about myself, what would I do today? Maybe I would quickly check something off my to-do list that's been bothering me, that I felt too small to deal with, so I've been hiding from. So I quickly do that. Now I'm in my power, and I'm feeling more safe. What else would I do if my worth and power congruent or matched $1 million? And I use money just because money is a number. It's measurable, and it has, we put those things together, our worth and the value of money. So let's turn it around and use it as a useful tool. So those are a couple things I encourage you to act on in order to raise your experience of your enough equation and move away from these safety programs. There's more to come, and I'm so excited for you to experience the things that we have in store for you. See you on the next video.